Mahfud MD menyatakan bahwa situasi penegakan hukum di Indonesia saat ini dalam kondisi darurat, terutama terkait maraknya kasus suap yang melibatkan hakim-hakim pengadilan. Mengutip Tribun News pada tanggal 21 April tahun 2020.
Mahfud, MD's public discussion analysis paper on Indonesian law enforcement in emergency conditions. Heading, Law Enforcement in Indonesia in Emergency Conditions, by Saul M.P. Nurm, 2405742020336S1 Business Law Program Bibliography, 1945 Constitution Amendment, Law Number 23/1959 on Dangerous Situations, Ishidiki, J., 2020, Emergency Constitutional Law. Notes of Public Discussion by Mahfud, M.D., April 17, 2025. Law enforcement in emergency conditions is a crucial issue in Indonesia, especially in the face of natural disasters, social conflicts, or health crises, such as pandemics. The public discussion delivered by Mahfud MD on April 17, 2025, highlighted the challenges and strategies of law enforcement in emergency situations. This analysis aims to examine the main points of Mahfud MD's thinking and its relevance to the Indonesian legal system. Problem Formulation 1. How does Mahfud MD view Indonesian law enforcement in an emergency? 2. What are the challenges and solutions proposed in the discussion? 3. What are the implications of emergency legal policy on the principle of the rule of law? Purpose: analyzing Mahfud MD's views on emergency law enforcement. Evaluate the challenges and policy recommendations submitted. Assess the impact of emergency laws on human rights and legal certainty. Concept of emergency law. Emergency law refers to a legal framework that is enforced in extraordinary circumstances, Article 12 of the 1945 Constitution and Law Number 23/1959 on dangerous circumstances. The principle must meet proportionality, balance between security and citizens' rights. Time-bound. Law enforcement in emergencies. According to Jimli Ashidiki, the emergency law must still uphold the due process of law even though there is procedural flexibility. Analysis of Mahfud MD's discussion. 3.1. Key points of discussion. 1. Flexibility versus legal certainty. Mahfud MD emphasized that the emergency law should not ignore the constitutional rights of citizens, but it needs to be adapted, such as accelerating the judicial process. Example: the use of Perpu, government regulation in lieu of law in the COVID-19 pandemic, must be supervised by the DPR. 2. Law enforcement challenges. Overlapping regulations between the central and regional governments. Risk of abuse of authority by the authorities, e.g. restriction of the right to protest in an emergency. 3. Proposed solutions. Coordination across agencies, Polri, TNI, regional government, with the supervision of Komnas HAM. Policy transparency through public channels to prevent hoaxes. 3.2. Criticism and critical notes. Potential human rights violations. Emergency policies often sacrifice privacy rights, e.g., digital tracking, without a strong legal basis. Ambiguity of the emergency criteria. A clear definition is needed to prevent the politicization of the term emergency. Implications and recommendations. 4.1 Policy. Implications. Positive: quick response to a crisis. Negative: the weakening of checks and balances if the House of Representatives does not actively supervise. 4.2 Recommendations 1. Strengthening legislative supervision of the use of emergency authority. Second, socialization of emergency protocols to the apparatus and the public. Third, Judicial Review of Controversial Emergency Policies. Cover 5.1. Conclusion. Mahfoud MD's discussion made him aware of the importance of balancing national security and human rights protection in emergency law. Indonesia needs clear regulations and oversight mechanisms to prevent authoritarianism. 5.2 Suggestions. An in-depth study of the comparative emergency law model, e.g., Germany or the U.S., is needed to strengthen the Indonesian system. Bibliography: 1945 Constitution Amendment. Law No. 23/1959 on Dangerous Situations. Ashidiki, J. 2020. Emergency Constitutional Law. Notes of Public Discussion by Mahfoud MD, April 17, 2025.